On this episode of Cinema Disaster, we're going to be talking about the 1981 film Halloween 2. This film, I'm sure that everyone that's watching this has seen this movie. So pretty much everything I'm going to tell you, you probably already know. Picks up right exactly where the first Halloween leaves off, where Michael Myers gets shot 6 times and he falls off the balcony and disappears. In this movie, they take Laurie Strode to the Haddonfield Medical Hospital, where Michael Myers ends up tracking her down. And it's completely ridiculous how he tracks her down. There's like this kid with a boombox on the street corner, and there's like a news report playing, talking about how talking about the murders from the first film. And then Michael Myers just happens to be walking by at the exact time where they're like, the teenager was taken to, Haddonfield Medical Hospital. And he hears that. And I guess that's how he supposedly finds his way there. And which is not a surprise, because John Carpenter, he didn't want to do this film. He didn't think that Halloween 1 needed a sequel. And although I think this is a great film, I mean, for a person that was not thrilled about writing the script, and apparently he did it while he was drunk and sleep deprived, this turned out to be a really fucking cool movie. And, the producer, Irwin Yablans, pretty much pushed the issue on him, said since the first Halloween was this huge box office success, and so obviously a sequel had to be made. And the producers, they have to always cash in on that opportunity. Carpenter passed on directing it, but agreed that him and Deborah Hill would write it. The directing job was originally offered to Tommy Lee Wallace, who turned it down because supposedly he didn't like the script. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I read. He, however, would go on to direct Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. This is the first film that depicts Michael Myers and Laurie Strode being brother and sister, which is a decision that John Carpenter regrets to this day. This was supposed to be the last of the Myers films, because after that he wanted to take the series in a whole new direction, more of a Twilight Zone, night gallery type of thing. Donald Pleasence returns in this as Dr. Loomis. Jamie Lee Curtis returns as Laurie Strode. And then Lance Guest, who I think this is his first film, who would later go on to be in The Last Starfighter, with Dan O'Hellery, who played Colonel Cochran in Halloween 3. He plays Jimmy, who develops sort of like a crush, I think, or a liking to Laurie while she's in the hospital. In the last film, The Shape, or Michael Myers, was portrayed by Nick Castle, whereas in this one, it's portrayed by Dick Warlock, who also played in the movie Halloween 3. This film was criticized for its overt use of violence and gore, whereas the original Halloween relied more on suspense and atmosphere. Well, let me go back a little bit. By this time, though, in 1981, the success of the first Halloween had spawned like this whole, it kicked off the whole slasher movie like craze that happened in the late 70s and the 80s. So there was tons of slasher films out there that were really gory and violent. And John Carpenter felt that the film that Rick Rosenthal shot was a little too tame for modern audiences. So he went back in and filmed a few more scenes of gore and violence, much to Dick Rosenthal's dismay, because he didn't approve of that at all. But there is a lot of great scenes. You get to see a girl's face, like I guess the skin melts off her face in this hot tub. You get people stabbed in the eyes with needles. Michael Myers gets his eyes shot out. There's lots of good stuff in this. It's a lot of fun, and I think it all takes place in this hospital. And I've heard some people say that they felt that the pacing of this film was too slow. And I completely disagree. I think that having it all shot in this one location of a hospital does give it a creepy atmosphere. And I think that the atmosphere is really strong in this one, just like it was in the original Halloween. There's actually two cuts of this film. There's the TV version where Jimmy survives, and in the theatrical cut, it's kind of left ambiguous. They're open-ended whether or not Jimmy survives, because he falls on the blood and he hits his head on the floor, kind of puts him in like this daze. And the last time you see him, he's slumped over the wheel of this car. You never see him after that, so you're left to wonder what happens to him. The music was done again by Alan Holworth, who did the music for Escape from New York, Christine, Prince of Darkness. This time around, though, instead of on piano, the score was done on a synthesizer, which I think gives it a more 80s feel, and it does add an element of creepiness to, or a creepy vibe to the film. A little side note, this was actually Dana Carvey's first film. He doesn't have a speaking role. Dana Carvey, as you know, went on to play Garth in Wayne's World. He was in the Richard Pryor movie, Moving. He was on Saturday Night Live. He's being interviewed by a reporter, and he stands there and nods, but this was his first on-screen appearance. In 1992, Richard Delmar Boyer actually murdered Francis and Eileen Harbitz in Fullerton, California. The murders were blamed on the film Halloween 2, claiming that Bayer had watched the film under the influence of PCP, marijuana, and alcohol. Which is bullshit. They always try to blame video games or records, Slayer albums and Marilyn Manson albums, Ozzy Osbourne, whatever, for putting crazy ideas in people's heads. But no matter what, I mean, he got blamed on that. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. As far as future Halloween films, Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers will return again in 2021 in the movie Halloween Kills, which Danny McBride is one of the writers of, and I think he's great in Eastbound and Down. He was great in Hot Rod. He was great in 30 Minutes or Less. He's done, what else has he done? Tropic Thunder. He's a great comedian, so we'll see how his hand at horror is. That's Halloween 2, and I'll be coming back with another review soon. If you haven't seen any of my old reviews, go back and watch them. I've reviewed Return of the Living Dead, Escape from New York, 976 Evil, Repo Man. I mean, there's a ton. There's 40 episodes of this. Go check out my back catalog. And until next time, this is Halloween 2, and keep watching.
We're all afraid of the dark inside ourselves.